Alice? Well, Alice? I'll meet you in this lounge after school.
Charlie, you're late again. This is the third time this week. I know it's the last day of school and this is your last period, but I just cannot tolerate this tardiness.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Stutz, but I...
Let's see. What will it be this time? You already used the one about getting your M sweater caught on some girl's steno pad. Then, of course, you told me once that your pen rolled under the girl's washroom door.
Cha-cha-cha. Well, in 45 minutes, I'll be out of this place for good. You know, I've waited 4 years for this moment, and now I kind of wish I was on the 5-year plan. Look at this old English book, just packed with memories of burning the midnight oil for that crummy sea. Seems like only yesterday that I bought my books. I'll be darned. These things must have collected an inch of dust during homecoming. All I did that week was work on our float, which, of course, blew apart as soon as we got it on the field.
The bands welcome the alumni of Maine High School to the 1958 homecoming game with a salute to the grads.
We weren't too sure about the outcome of the game before it started. But when the band stepped out on the field playing our pep song, there wasn't any doubt left in anyone's mind. We just had to win, and we sure did. After that hectic homecoming week, I didn't want to go anywhere for a long time. It took Alice a whole week to get me to go to the senior class play. Just the name was enough to scare me off. You can't take it with you. Everything went fine that night until we got about 4 blocks from the school, and then my machine cashed in. And yep, I was right. We couldn't take it with us. But when we finally got there, it wasn't so bad. In fact, it was great.
Quiet, everybody. Now, let's keep it quiet. Well, sir, here we are again. We want to say thanks once more for all you've done for us. Things seem to be going along fine. Alice is going to marry Tony. It looks as if they'll be very happy. Of course, the fireworks blew up. But that was Mr. DePenna's fault, not yours. All we ask is to just keep our health. As far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you. Well,
Oh, for Pete's sake, what's that Stutz griping about now? He reminds me of my mother. Like that night I was on my way out of the house to go and play cards with the guys. So much griping about me not going to see my little sister sing in the choral concert. Everybody knows that Annie sounds like a chipmunk when she sings. But I was supposed to go and listen to 105 voices like that. You can imagine how surprised I was when I found that they could sing pretty darn good. As for Annie, I didn't even hear her all night. I guess she was drowned out. Yep, 105 girls and me.
you have found him, never let him go. Never let him go.
Let's see. Where was I supposed to meet Alice now? Oh yeah, in the lounge. I've been meeting her there for a long time now. Ever since we've been going steady. We get along pretty good. And one time, though, I thought we were through. That was the night she called up and said she wanted me to take her and her cello over to school for something called the Messiah. I nearly flipped. I tried to explain to her that I was second alternate on a bowling team, and they had just called me up to fill in. The first time in 3 years. But, as always, Alice won. I lost. Boy, that Messiah. I can still feel the tingling that went through my spine that night. The music was, well, what can you say? It was great.
For unto us a child is born.
Say, look at those chicks in the blue gym suits. I see them about this time every day. Yep, only 30 more minutes of school. What are they playing out there anyway? Looks like basketball with mallets? Well, that's girls for you. You know, we had a pretty good basketball team this year. Some of the games were really great. The Hinsdale game. I thought the lineup would never end. Tension kept mounting all through the game, and when we won in the overtime, boy, that crowd went wild.
The lineup for Maine Demons is Berber, 21, forward. Mannon, 33, forward. Gebby, 34, playing center. White, 22, playing guard. Peterson, number 23, guard. The coach for Maine Demons is Coach Bernie Brady.
After those games, there was usually an after dance, and it was always packed. What a riot. You couldn't even hear yourself think except when the Swing Kings would play that Night Train. For some reason, there has always been a certain feeling about that song. It's everyone's favorite. Sure were lively weeks, from conference play to the regionals. Right in the middle of it all was the V-Show. That mainspring was a great success. I kind of hope that I'll get to see next year's show, too. It may be as good, but I'll bet the finale won't compare with this year's. Man, how that group of kids could put on a show. Maybe that's because I knew most of them. The gapping around of V show was barely over before we met our arch rivals, Arlington. It was the last game of the Glenbrook Regionals when we met them for the final time. After that game, I think I must have looked for my vocal cords for a week. When we won, I'm sure we cheered so hard that we raised the whole roof 3 inches or more.
That's 4 against Maine. Going the line for Arlington Heights, we're going to have Bob Barber. The score, 59-50. Maine leading Arlington Heights. The free throw is up and good. Barber makes his free throw. He'll shoot a second one now for Arlington Heights. His ball Cubs trailing 59-51. The free throw's up and no good. The rebound brought down now by Johnston. Shoots and misses. The rebound off to Maine. We have just 20 seconds to go in the championship game. Maine is defeating Arlington Heights. Berber gets the pass, drives down into the corner. A whistle on the play. And it's going to be Maine's ball underneath the Demons' basket. Just 15 seconds to go in the game. Maine leading Arlington Heights 59-53 now. Just 12 seconds to go. The long pass comes out to Hamilton. He moves off to his left. A whistle on the play and a foul about to be called against Arlington Heights. No alternative. The Cardinals have to foul, but it's almost a lost cause. 59-53. Maine leading Arlington Heights. 10 seconds to go in this championship game of the Glenbrook Regional. At the basket, too, all right, it's going to be Bud Hamilton. The foul is against Johnston of Arlington. The shot is up and no good by Hamilton, but he was fouled in the act of shooting, and he'll shoot a second one. Hamilton at the line for Maine, ready to shoot his second free throw. He missed the first one, 59-53. Maine in front of Arlington Heights. Now it's 60-53. 10 seconds to go in the game. Dahlquist drives down the far sideline. 5 seconds to go. Over to Schmidt. A jump shot is good. Makes it 60-55. Maine has the ball. There's the horn. The end of the ball game. Maine has won the Glenbrook Regional Basketball Tournament, defeating Arlington Heights 60-55.
Wonder if my watch is right. This thing has gotten me into more trouble this year. At the Tri-M dance, it made me an hour late picking up Alice. We got there just in time for the last 2 acts of the floor show. The Swing Kings started off with You're Undecided Now. That's quite a song when they play it. guess the Swing Kings must have set the mood, because when the Bucketeers came on singing Wonderful Time Up There, it took them 3 encores to get off the stage. Ah, those guys can really sing.
Well, now everybody's gonna have religion in glory. Everybody's gonna be singing that story. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there. Oh, glory, hallelujah, brother, there's a reckoning coming in the morning. Better get ready, 'cause we're giving you the warning. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there. Now listen, everybody, 'cause I'm talking to you. The Lord is the only one to carry you through. You better get ready, 'cause I'm telling you why. The Lord is a-coming from his throne on high. We're going down the valley, going one by one. We're gonna be rewarded for the things we've done. How you gonna feel about the things he'll say on that judgment day? Well, everybody's gonna have religion in glory. Everybody's gonna be singing that story. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there. Oh, glory, hallelujah, brother, there's a reckoning coming in the morning. Better get ready, 'cause we're giving you the warning. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there. Now you get your Holy Bible in the back of the book. The book of Revelations is the place to look. Well, if you understand it and you can if you try, the Lord isn't coming from his throne on high. I'm reading in the Bible about the things he said. Said he's coming back again to raise the dead. Are you gonna be among the chosen few? Will you make it through? Well, everybody's gonna have religion in glory. Everybody's gonna be singing that story. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there. Oh, glory, hallelujah, brother, there's a reckoning coming in the morning. Better get ready, 'cause we're giving you the warning. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there. Well, everybody's gonna have religion in glory. Everybody's gonna be singing that story. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there. Oh, glory, hallelujah, brother, there's a reckoning coming in the morning. Better get ready, 'cause we're giving you the warning. Everybody's gonna have a wonderful time up there.
This year certainly has been different from the last 3. Those split shifts sure did bring a lot of changes. They affected many things, like election week. Because we normally had to be at school at 7:30, we had to be there at 6 to put on our hall skits. At that time of the morning, some of the music was way out. Late nights and no-dos made for baggy eyes and lonesome parents. I don't think there was another week to compare with election week at Maine. Because of the school splitting up next year, the assembly was twice as long, and there were twice as many skits and speeches, and they were twice as good, too.
It was Henry Thoreau who remarked that, quote, "A man's life should be a stately march to unheard music," unquote. He meant that life should be guided by inner powers, commanding our obedience to the best we know. If we march to unheard music, good enough to get by, this is not good enough in anything we do. George Washington Carver felt the influence of unheard music when he remarked that, quote, "Almost is always wrong." if you come to a stream 5 feet wide and jump 4.5 feet, you fall in and get wet, unquote. Almost good enough isn't good enough. We may fall short in student council now and then. We never reach ultimate perfection. But the question is whether we have marched to the rhythm of the best we have known. It is one thing to miss a high mark, even though we have given our utmost. But it is something else to aim so low that we attain without struggle. We can be satisfied with average performance, or we can set goals beyond reach and climb above the average. There is a hint of what it means to march to unheard music in the work of your student council. The student body is demanding, and it is impatient with their student council when they have poor representation, and this is good. We cannot like ourselves when low aims leave us quite willing to get by on less than the best we have to give. The student council welcomes your ideas, but the student council also needs your understanding. Throughout the past year, I believe that the student council has done its best to represent you, and you, the student body, have given us your ideas and your understanding. It seems almost impossible that a year has gone by so quickly, and that you are present today to decide your choice for the next year's leaders of your student council. But it has, and I firmly and sincerely believe that any of the candidates running for president and secretary are fully qualified for their respective office. For they have that one qualification that ranks first on any list. They have the desire. Thank you all ever so much for giving me a full, complete, and wonderful year as your student council secretary. Thank you.
Although those split shifts brought a lot of good changes, I didn't care for going to gym at 7:30 in the morning.
Push up, let's go. Have push up, let's go. Hurry up.
They're going to put all right,
one open your legs, two close your legs. Let's go. One open, two close. Ready, begin. One, hot, 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 one, 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 hot, and hold. All right, push up. Let's go. Ready?
Watch my...
Oh, this is a good
Ready,
let's go.
200.
Down. Up. Down. Up.
Is all this going to be on there?
Down 4. Up. Down 5. Up. Down 8. Up. Down 9. Up. Down 10. Up. Down 11. Up. Down 12. Up. Down 13. Up. Down 14. Up. Down 15. Up. Count to 1, lift your left leg, 2 down, 3 your right leg, and 4 down. Let's go. Ready? 1, left leg, give me these 3. 2 down, 3 your right leg, 4 down, 1.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Stutz. It won't happen again, sir. And it won't either, because in 13 minutes I'll be gone for good. Where does he get off calling me Fumble Fingers anyway? Just because I dropped my books. Hey, who told him my nickname? I thought only the guys in the orchestra knew that one. Well, I'll never forget the time they tagged me with it. Well, it was at the triumph initiation when I fouled things good. What was that piece we played anyway? Oh yeah, Perpetual Motion. minutes to go. Hey, Pete, will you can that tapping with a pencil? You sound like my old car. Tapping. That reminds me of my typing class. That never did turn out too good. If I didn't get my fingers stuck between the keys, it just seemed like my day wasn't complete. Only 2 more minutes to go. Just 2 minutes short of 4 years. These 4 years have been filled with events and experiences which I will long remember. In just 3 days, I'll be pocketing my diploma. I can see it all now. I'll have my cap on backwards, trip on to receive my diploma, and then shake with the wrong hand. Well, it'll be good old Charlie.